Hi, this is Presley, and this week's topic is advice to parents raising a trans child. Now, I just want to say as a little disclaimer before we start that I'm sick, so I might not be as energetic as I would have been if I hadn't been sick, because I really like this topic and I think it's fun and important to talk about, but I have a cold and I've had it for a couple of days and it sucks. But what can you do about it? We're just gonna go on and pretend that it's not there, okay? So, when I first started thinking about this topic, it was kind of difficult for me to figure out what I was gonna say, because obviously I'm not a parent, and for me personally that's very far ahead in the future if I ever decide to have kids, and I don't have any friends who are parents, so I don't feel like I have a lot of authority on giving advice to parents. But then I thought, well, I may not know what it's like to be a parent, but I do know what it's like to grow up, because I do have quite a lot of pretty clear memories from my childhood on how certain things made me feel when people said or did certain things to me. So I think, while I may not be the best person to ask advice on parenting, I think I do have some things to say about how to treat a person who's growing up. And that's, I mean, in a way that's kind of the same thing. But yeah, anyway, let's just continue. I think the number one thing to being a parent is to love your child and to teach them how to love others and to teach them how to love themselves. And it's not about having all the answers, it's about being willing to search for answers to questions that you never thought you'd be asking. And if you think your child is going through a phase, let them. Because we all go through phases. I've had phases. I had a hippie phase, I had an otherkin phase, and lots of other phases. And while those were not permanent to me, they were important for my growth and my developing as a person. And they were chapters in my quest to find out who I am, I guess. Just because it's a temporary thing doesn't mean it's pointless, doesn't mean it's bad, okay? And just because something is a phase to one person doesn't mean that it's a phase to another person. You know, I recognize that what was a phase to me might not be a phase to somebody else. And what is permanent to me might be a phase to someone else, you know? And we have this sort of phase shaming thing in our society that whatever is not permanent, like that's not as important as the things that are permanent. But like, yeah, they are. Being a child is not permanent. You're gonna grow up, but your childhood is really, really, really important to you. It's gonna be the foundation on which you're gonna be standing for the rest of your life. So phases like childhood and phases like phases within childhood, phases in style, phases in belief, phases in anything. In some way, I think it's a way to deal with the things going on in your life at that moment, and a way to relate to the world and a way to cope with things happening in the world. And so I think there's a reason to every phase, and I don't think there's any phase that is insignificant at all. I think of course there can be phases that are dangerous if it has to do with drugs or alcohol or something like that, but most phases I think are really important, so don't discredit them. But also, being trans is oftentimes not a phase. And if your child has told you that they're trans, or that they identify as a gender that they were not assigned at birth, then it's probably not a phase. So don't treat it as if it is a phase, but just like know that if it were, that would still be okay, and you still gotta treat it with dignity and respect, because phases aren't insignificant. So the most important things I think you can do with any child really, but with a trans child, is to, number one, educate yourself. And YouTube is a really good source. You can watch trans people talk about their lives and talk about other things, so you can normalize it for you, and it will really be good, because then you will be able to treat your child in a more relaxed way, I think. And you will also learn about what it's like to be trans in your country, and about what it's like to be trans in the world today. And so educate yourself about those things, talk to trans people, talk to other parents of trans kids, find people in your local area, and normalize being transgender for you, so that you will be able to treat it like it's normal, because it is. And number two is talk to your child. And make sure that your child is comfortable talking about it before you do. If your child isn't comfortable talking about it, then just let them know that you're gonna love them no matter what. Just say it in passing, like, you know, no matter what, no matter if you're gay or bi or transgender or whatever, I'm still gonna love you. Just like, tell them that often. And they will know that, and that can really do a lot, I think. And when they're ready, they will tell you, and they will talk to you about it, and then just let them know that it's okay. Yeah, and don't ask too many, don't ask any invasive questions. Just ask them if they're feeling okay, if you can do anything to help them, what they want to do. So yeah, as I said before, just make your child feel loved, because that will let them know that they are worthy of love, and that will teach them how to love themselves in a society that isn't always going to love them. And that is the most important thing you can do for a trans child, is to give them the opportunity to learn how to love themselves. Yeah. So that was my video for this week. I hope you had a great week, and I hope next week is gonna be great for you too. And I hugged you last time in my last video, so I'm gonna do that again because it was so nice. So much love. Yes. So nice. That's kind of creepy, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, before this derails even more, I'm gonna go now. Have a great week. Bye.